hundreds of injuries and dozens of fatalities while people are outdoors. Know that lightning can strike from as far away as 10 miles, even if it's not raining and the skies are clear. So if you hear thunder, head indoors. If you're outside with a sports group and there's a chance for thunderstorms, make sure there's someone monitoring the weather conditions. Watch for darkening skies, growing clouds, or increasing winds, which may mean an approaching storm. If you hear thunder, seek shelter in an enclosed, sturdy building with electricity and plumbing, which will divert a lightning strike into the ground. If there's no safe building available, head to a hardtop vehicle. Make sure the doors are closed and windows are up. A golf course can be a lightning hazard. The open fairways are dangerous for direct lightning strikes. Avoid trees and metal objects. Lightning can travel through the ground from a nearby strike. So if severe weather threatens, run or drive to safety. Remember, when it comes to lightning, there's no safe place outside.
Good tips there, and as we look ahead at the next 7 days, you're going to need those tips. We have a very active pattern setting up here for severe weather throughout the U.S. Today, not so much, but we are looking at widespread showers all the way from Dallas to Atlanta and up into the Ohio Valley. Also, some much-needed rain coming into Northern California. By tomorrow, we're looking at that rain moving into Southern California as well, but really just a drop in the bucket in terms of the drought. Tomorrow, looking at some showers and thunderstorms once again from the plains all the way into the Midwest. We're looking at showers here in the Northeast all the way down the East Coast into Atlanta. So not exactly the greatest spring break weather for the kids here. Taking a look at Wednesday, this could be one of our key days here as the ingredients start to come together here in the plains and actually through the Mid-South, where we're looking at the possibility of severe weather developing. Thursday, another big day, very likely as our system gets going here even farther, really pushing through Oklahoma all the way in through portions of, say, Tennessee and Missouri. So we're looking at, again, another very active day, as Keith mentioned, where we could see some supercells developing, isolated tornadoes, certainly hail and damaging winds, all possibilities. As we hit Friday of this week, our weather system pushes off to the mid-Atlantic. Right now, that severe weather risk decreases significantly, but we're still looking at a very wet weather pattern, so we're still concerned about flooding all the way from Dallas over toward Atlanta, the Ohio Valley as well, which has been very saturated in recent days. Looking at the possibility of river flooding there along the Ohio River as well. We'll keep an eye on that. A much quieter weather pattern as we hit next weekend. Fortunately, many of these areas will get a break and start to dry out here from Chicago down through, say, St. Louis over toward Atlanta, maybe getting on the edge of some dry weather as well. And then Sunday, more rain coming in the central U.S. Stay with us. Weather Center Live continues.
Hey, what's up? I'm Ted. Rudy and I have a lot of daily rituals.
Namaste. Stay.
Taking care of our teeth is one of them. When I brush my teeth, he gets a Milk-Bone brushing chew. Just another way to keep ourselves healthy. I'll go change.
Are you considering shoulder or knee surgery? Please pay close attention, because this device, the Willow Curve, has helped save people from invasive surgery, like knee replacement.
The Curve is a non-prescription, non-invasive, drug-free device that can temporarily relieve joint pain in minutes.
It's similar to technologies used in clinics across the country, except you use the Curve in your own home. Simply put it on the painful area, push a button, and let the device relieve your pain. When I first heard about the Curve, I was skeptical. Then I started hearing the real-life stories of people who have used the Curve to relieve some of the toughest pain you can imagine. This device is changing lives and helping people to skip their knee and shoulder surgeries, from football Hall of Famers to Navy SEALs and people like you and me. You really have to experience it to believe it, and you can with Curve's 90-day risk-free guarantee. If it doesn't reduce your pain, send it back for a full refund. But I promise, the Curve will change your life.
Order your Willow Curve today with a 90-day risk-free money-back guarantee by phone or online at willowcurveworks.com.
Control the weather. That's looking good. So we build things to harness it.
That's awesome. They hit the water, game on.
Up here in Southeast Alaska, Coast Guard's the last line of defense.
This is about how far you can push yourself.
Currently in our area, 82 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Today, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 83. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, partly cloudy. Low 72. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tuesday, partly cloudy skies. High 85. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Shopping for the family used to cause a lot of stress between me and my budget. But thanks to Fingerhut, we have found our happy place.
Life is definitely sweeter.
At Fingerhut.com, we got approved to shop with low monthly payments, over 200,000 items with brand names like Samsung, Dyson, DeWalt, and with great family stuff like this Samsung TV.
And even our yoga mats.
All you got to do is click on over to Fingerhut.com and get the credit you deserve to get all kinds of great stuff for the family. Ow!
Jack's heart attack didn't come with a warning. Today, his doctor has him on a bare aspirin regimen to help reduce the risk of another one. If you've had a heart attack, be sure to talk to your doctor before you begin an aspirin regimen.
Thompson's Water Seal Waterproofing Stain. The seal you can trust, with stain and sealer in one, and easy to choose colors. Exceptional beauty and protection have never been easier. Thompson's Water Seal Waterproofing Stain. Available at the Home Depot.
Our oath isn't an empty gesture. It's the heart and soul of Terminix Nation. The Terminix Ultimate Protection Guarantee. A vow that we kill every termite in your home. Not here, not now, not in my house. Terminix.
Can a protein originally found in a jellyfish improve your memory? Our scientists say yes. Researchers have discovered a protein that actually supports healthier brain function. It's the breakthrough in a supplement called Prevagen. As we age, we lose proteins that support our brain. Prevagen supplements these proteins and has been clinically shown to improve memory. It's safe and effective. For support of healthier brain function, a sharper mind, and clearer thinking, try Prevagen for yourself.
You totaled your brand new car. Nobody's hurt, but there will still be pain. It comes when your insurance company says they'll only pay 3/4 of what it takes to replace it. What are you supposed to do? Drive 3/4 of a car? Now, if you had Liberty Mutual new car replacement, you'd get your whole car back. I guess they don't want you driving around on 3 wheels. Smart.
New car replacement is just one of the features that comes standard with a base Liberty Mutual policy. And for drivers with accident forgiveness, rates won't go up due to your first accident. Learn more by calling 1-888-380-5644. Switch to Liberty Mutual and you could save up to $423. For a free quote today, call Liberty Mutual Insurance at 1-888-380-5644. See car insurance in a whole new light. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
It was right on top of us. And then it hit. And we took it to the edge. Didn't give up.
Well, not everyone had a sunny and clear Easter Sunday. 1.5 inches of snow came down in Hancock, New York. Just look at it coming down there. That's not right.
That's so wrong.
That's just wrong. The high there yesterday around freezing. And today, well, it's like the snow never happened, jolting up 30 degrees to 65 today. So finally getting a start on spring. That is the worst when you see snow in April.
It's easy for us to say it's like it never happened. For the psyche part of it, trust me, it happened. Warmer temperatures.
Gives you the chill.
Yeah, exactly. And I said, if you want to have fun with your kids, put out Easter eggs, don't paint them in the snow, and see how they do with that. They're really smart children. Warmer temperatures slowly making their way into the Northeast. Boston finally hit 60 last Thursday for the first time this year.
Oh, that is not right.
No.
But Reagan Medji found out some people are a bit more impatient after experiencing such a harsh winter. They want the warmth now, and they want it to stick around.
The heat is on, and people in the Northeast are soaking it up.
The warm weather is nice. A few of my friends are actually going swimming today.
Today's nice, but you never know. I mean, we already had winter on Tuesday where we had literally a whiteout for about 20 minutes in our town.
But when it is nice enough, people are eating lunch outside, not having to bundle up their four-legged friends and enjoying the park without the layers. Not long ago, the entire Northeast looked like this, buried under snow and shivering from Arctic cold. It seemed like winter was never going to end.
So if I were Old Man Winter, what would you say to me after what I put you through? You really suck.
Please leave and don't come back.
Many people are glad to put that record-setting winter behind them, strip off the layers, and enjoy a day like this. However, we all have to keep in mind that spring has just started.
Well, I'll tell you what, as we get into the latter half of April, for New England, I wouldn't quite get my swimsuits out, but our computer models are beginning to show a change in the overall weather pattern, and that for New England should be much more spring-like temperatures.
This winter, much of the Northeast was 3 to 6 degrees below average, so the steady warm temperatures can't come soon enough.
But guess what? I can handle that. You know why?
Why?
Because the sunshine is on my face and I'm loving it.
In New Jersey, Reagan Medji, the Weather Channel.
He can also handle it because he's wearing a Boss Life t-shirt. That's part of the whole thing. Let's talk about what's going on right now. It's still cold, record cold in parts of northern Maine this morning. Presque Isle, Maine, it's up there. It was cold, 13 degrees below zero this morning. Latest in the season, previous record 4 below back in 1893. They got some old records there, and we're breaking some of them. Look at these lows this morning. Holt coming in at 13 below. Clayton Lake, notorious cold spot in Maine, 19 degrees below zero. That's just, see that in January is one thing, but see in April, that's bad. And really, they're one of the only areas, northern parts of the plains and through northern Maine, that are in this colder air. Everybody else has warmed up. It's feeling more like spring. A weak little system down here, a frontal system, just allowing some of that precip to fall as snow. Now, you do have some things working against snow accumulation this time of the year, the sun angle obviously being one of them. So a lot of the snow occurs on grass. Harder to get that stuff to stick on pavement this time of the year. Here's a look at the radar, though, up in through Canada and northern parts of Lake Michigan, and just mixing with snow. Some of this is terrain driven in here, and some of these skiers in New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine, they're going to be skiing till the end of May. I mean, it's been an unbelievable season for them. Unless they get into some real blowtorchy kind of temperatures, they're going to be in good shape. And then it's kind of just cold rain down across York County into parts of New Hampshire here. That's where that transition zone is. Again, these are all mountains if you're not familiar with it. In through the Adirondacks here, Whiteface, one of the spots they'll be seeing some snow there as well. All right, meanwhile, the place they need snow, they are going to get some. That's in the west, and there's that upper level disturbance eventually will eject into the plains and give us some severe weather. But at first, we'll be dealing with some mountain snow. The snow level relatively high, but it will help get some of that snowpack going because we've had really almost none. And then, of course, we have the drought in the valley, so the combination is really bad. Looking at a good amount of snow, 8 to 12 inches here in through Yosemite, in through Donner Pass. Also, again, that's higher terrain, but it does help. Eventually, that will melt into some water. Not a ton, though. Take a look at California's snowpack. Good year in 2011, awful year, 5% so far in 2015. Julie?
I'll tell you, from wintry weather to the potential for another severe outbreak this week, all of the ingredients appear to be coming together. This is a look at what we expect for Wednesday. Strong storms from Springfield, Missouri to Kansas City, Oklahoma City, and Dallas, all in line. Our Torcon now at a 5.
Currently in our area, 82 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Today, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 83. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 72. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tuesday, partly cloudy skies, high 85. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Right now in weather. Weather Center Live, we want to prepare you for what is setting up to be a stormy, wet week across much of the country. We're also putting you on alert for the possibility of a midweek severe weather outbreak that could produce tornadoes, damaging winds, and hail.
And if you're sniffling, sneezing, your eyes won't stop running, you either just got dumped or you've got allergy problems. In the latter case, the incoming rain may not be such a bad thing. We're checking out the pollen count in your city. Our expert-filled, in-depth coverage starts right here, right now on Weather Center Live.
Well, the ingredients are coming together for the setup of a very busy weather week. Good Monday to you, and thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Julie Martin.
And I'm Keith Carson. Obviously, severe season was slow through much of March, but things kind of flipped a couple of weeks ago, and now we have yet another week of some strong storms.
Might be making up for it this week. We are seeing a different pattern for sure. Thunderstorms are going to be pushing into Alabama later on today.
Yeah, and Easter weekend was spent cleaning up after a tornado. EF1 hit Ider Friday night. That's east of Huntsville. Winds clocked in 105 miles an hour, uprooting trees and blowing roofs off homes. Luckily, no reports of injuries. In fact, where that video was shot, they had a storm shelter that they were in. That's a good thing.
Certainly some good news. April, a very dangerous month when it comes to tornadoes touching down in and around the Huntsville area. And, a tornado outbreak, damaging wind gusts, dangerous hail, those are all the ingredients you need for a severe storm.
Yeah, and in the south, that's what we're going to be dealing with all week long. Meteorologist Mark Elliott is in Birmingham. He explains why stormy weather is likely.
A rainy afternoon in Birmingham, Alabama, and this is the time of year that they get severe weather. If you look at the averages across the nation, Alabama has 6 times the national average of tornadoes during the month of April. And far and away, for Birmingham itself, April is their busiest tornado month. Right now we're seeing some rain. That's actually some welcome rain as we've been washing away the pollen. The trees have really leafed out as we've gone through the past several days, and the allergies and the pollen counts have exploded along with those leaves. So no one really complaining about the rain today, although there could be some strong storms during the late afternoon into the evening. The bigger threat of severe weather, however, comes towards the end of the week when our next system comes through the southeast. A cold front will kick up wind, hail, even tornadoes across the south, including here in Birmingham on Friday. So that's something we're going to keep our eye on for sure as we get closer to that. One last note for you. 1 year ago exactly, April 6th last year, 5 to 6 inches of rain fell across the city of Birmingham in a very short time frame. Widespread flooding, cars needed rescue. There were people that had to get pulled out from the water. Luckily, nothing like that in the forecast today. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Mark. Mark mentioned that flooding on Friday in places like Louisville, and certainly bad news there. But the ground, by the way, so saturated now, any rain that comes through is not going to be welcome news either. Here's a look at live radar right now. We do have some rain moving through Tuscaloosa and Birmingham right now. Nothing severe, though, expected with this particular system. Just some heavy rain moving along I-40 as well, heading toward Nashville and Paducah. It is right on your doorstep also. So for today, not looking at the big severe day, but certainly as we move into even late tomorrow into Wednesday, that's when we're talking about some of those stronger storms developing. This is our pattern that is set up. We've got that big dip in the jet stream, a trough in the west. As Keith mentioned, a very different pattern than what we have been used to with that stubborn ridge in place for much of the winter. Moisture pulling up from the north, these ingredients coming together and really leading to the possibility of this dangerous outbreak that we're going to be tracking for you right along where they meet up, that dry line. And in fact, our own severe weather expert, Dr. Greg Forbes, has now upped the Torcon to a 5 now for midweek. So periods of thunderstorms, some heavy rain likely from Chicago to Atlanta and Dallas as we hit midweek and through Thursday. Certainly Kentucky getting more rain piling up there, and we will be concerned about some flooding, particularly along the Ohio River Valley as well. This is a look at the pattern for tomorrow. Strong storms very likely in places like even Atlanta. Can't rule out the possibility of a strong storm tomorrow. Certainly scattered thunderstorms, the name of the game as we hit in through Wednesday and Thursday. Some of those stronger storms developing. And some of the rain totals here here, we could see in general anywhere from a couple of inches of rain to maybe even 3, 4, 5 inches of rain in places like Memphis. So definitely not welcome news there. And we're going to be on the watch out as well for some of the river flooding as well as the localized flash flooding. Birmingham, a stormy pattern for you. We're basically looking at showers and storms over several hours. Keith?
All right, thanks, Julie. Let's take a look at 2 other cities facing severe weather this week. Oklahoma City on your left, St. Louis there on your right. Looks like Oklahoma City, particularly Wednesday. St. Louis, probably Wednesday night all the way through Thursday. Let's talk about this setup and why we're watching the middle part of the week. And computer models have been locked into this since last week, showing us we had a bunch of ingredients coming together in that Wednesday, Thursday time frame. Sure enough, that's what's going to happen here. So here's what it looks like. Oklahoma City Wednesday night, Kansas City Wednesday, Thursday night in through St. Louis. Your Torcon numbers between 3 and 4, but as Julie mentioned, Dr. Forbes has taken it up to a 5 as we head into Wednesday. So we've got a dry line, warm, dry air colliding with moist flow from the Gulf of Mexico. Severe season is all about the clash of these air masses, right? So that's why it happens in the spring as we head into early summer as well. You've got these air masses coming in, warm, dry, and moist air coming in. That's where they collide. The dry line is where you look for some of these storms to fire, especially initially. They get a little bit more complicated after the initial line fires. Sometimes you see other storms fire on their outflow boundaries, etc. But that's where we look for things to start. So here we are Wednesday, Springfield, Kansas City, St. Louis, Oklahoma City, and then Dallas right on the edge, on the southern edge of that potential risk. And again, your Torcon numbers here, 4 for eastern Kansas, north central Oklahoma, but Dr. Forbes has gone as high as 5 in other areas on Wednesday into Wednesday night. And here's east is central Oklahoma, north central Texas with that Torcon number. Thursday looks like a big severe weather day as well. St. Louis all the way up into Chicago and Little Rock. So Chicago, again, 2 weeks ago dealing with snow, now thinking about some severe weather. In fact, the Torcon number there, 4 out of 10 into Iowa and northern parts of Illinois. And then as we head down to the southwestern parts of Tennessee, western Kentucky, right on that juncture there. And then Arkansas coming in with a 3 out of 10. We're going to have rotation in the atmosphere certainly there on Thursday. Possibility of some tornadoes. Little Rock coming in with a 3 out of 10. Julie?
Well, now that we've pinpointed the dangers from too much water, we will turn to the problems that too little water is creating. But first, check out the thick smoke and ash that filled the skies over Chile this weekend. It is from the Villarrica volcano, and officials keeping a very close eye on it. Last month, thousands of people had to evacuate when lava flowed from the volcano.
These spicy super crunch chicken strips are not your mom's chicken strips.
No, they're my chicken strips.
It's an expression. It means they're not, plain old chicken strips.
Are you calling my mom plain and old?
No, I like these chicken
like?
strips.
Okay. Well, we'll see how this goes.
Oh my gosh.
Mom, you have an admirer. She is interested?
Okay.
Chicken strips with a kick worth calling home about. Spicy Super Crunch chicken strips. Add some spark to your morning with new Sonic Spark energy drinks. This is how you Sonic.
The FDA issued a public notice to doctors and patients concerning serious injuries caused by transvaginal mesh, bladder mesh, pelvic sling, and bladder sling. Please call now if you had one of these devices implanted in the last 5 years. You may be entitled to a cash award. If you had a transvaginal mesh, bladder mesh, pelvic sling, or bladder sling in the last 5 years,
please call 1-866-686-7952 now.
Hey girl, is it crazy that your soccer trophy is talking to you right now? It kind of is. It's as crazy as you not rolling over your old 401k. Cue the horns. Just harness the confidence it took you to win me and call TD Ameritrade's rollover consultants. They'll help with the hassle by guiding you through the whole process step by step. And they'll even call your old provider. It's easy. Even she could do it.
Whatever, Janet.
For all the confidence you need, TD Ameritrade. You got this.
You know you're going to go out in bad weather.
We're willing to take a lot of risk.
He has no heartbeat, he's got no pulse.
These people are counting on us.
So let's go!
I've never been so terrified.
When you go out there, it's dangerous.
Currently in our area, 82 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Today, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 83. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, partly cloudy. Low 72. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tuesday, partly cloudy skies. High 85. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
We have been shattering records. Look at this, Sam.
I'm getting soaked.
You weren't expecting that, were you?
No, I wasn't.
I started my Camry. Ran a race most wouldn't dream of starting. Chose to take down a monster. And realized when it's dark enough, you can see the stars. One bold choice leads to another. Toyota, let's go places.
Andrew, Rita, Sandy. Meet Chris, Jackie, Joe. Minor damage or major disaster. When you need us most, we're there. State Farm. We're a force of nature, too.
You don't know your credit
I don't know
score?
my credit score.
That's really important. I mean,
I don't know my
Don't
credit
you want to
score.
buy a house, like, ever? You should probably check out Credit Karma. It's free.
Credit Karma. Free.
Credit Karma. Really free credit scores.
Welcome back. Here is a live look now at the beautiful California coast. Cali, that R word, it is coming. Today, rain and snow. Be a Northern California thing, but by Tuesday, LA, San Diego, you will get some showers as well.
I saw a great article recently about how people stereotype LA and how it's not really like that. And the theory was that we were just bitter in the east because it was rainy and snowy. And there could be something to that, you know?
I actually lived there for a short time, and it was kind of like you looked forward to those rainy days.
Something different, right?
Yeah.
You can get used to anything. Unfortunately, parts of California, although they could get 5 inches of precip this week, they need it.
They do, and it's just not enough, though, to make an impact on the years-long drought.
NBC's Hallie Jackson tells us how the need for water is forcing some farmers to make tough choices.
This dust will turn to mud in a couple weeks when Charlie Matthews floods his rice fields with millions of gallons of water. But some of his fellow farmers may stay dry, choosing instead to sell their water south for more money than they'd make growing rice.
Doesn't this create an interesting dilemma for you? Are you a water seller or are you a rice farmer?
We're primarily want to be a rice farmer, but in order to be a rice farmer, we have to have the water.
Matthews took us to the reservoir supplying his Northern California district, which just struck a deal to sell some of its water to the Los Angeles area. Not an easy decision for him, but he says a necessary one.
If we don't find a way for the people in the South to get water when they desperately need it, we're afraid they'll change our water rights. So if we don't sell it to them, they'll find a way to take it.
Farmers like Matthews stand to make $700 an acre foot by not farming some land and selling allocated water 400 miles south to Jeffrey Keitlinger's district.
Give me some context there.
This is 2.5 times more the normal market rate for water this year.
His Metropolitan Water District imports 2/3 of its water from Central and Northern California.
That is water-rich territory, and here's the people-rich territory, and we're trying to match the two up.
But some folks worry that's a short-sighted solution that could eventually leave northern reservoirs high and even drier.
We have drought conditions here as well. Somehow there's this belief that they're not going to drain it, like there's so much water up here that they can't possibly destroy.
So bad, Northern California farmers may have to call off their deals anyway if the low snowpack and recent heat waves mean they don't get the water they need for any of their crops.
Even the small amount of water may just evaporate.
Still, with no end in sight,
There's 2,000 rice growers. There's 38 million other folks in California. We want to make sure we can get along with the 38 million.
Water for sale? A strategy for survival. Hallie Jackson, NBC News, Marysville, California.
All right, it may be a Band-Aid, but it's something. They got to try something. They are going to get a pattern change that long. Things are going to loosen up. But look at San Fran. Average about 12 inches of rain from January 1st till now. Normally, this year 2.18, a microcosm of what's going on in the West and has been going on now for a while. Now, we will get a trough in the West. It's been a while since we've said that. There had been a ridge out in the East. Ridiculously persistent ridge is what the nerds have coined that ridge all through the winter. Well, now breaking down a little bit this week, so we're going to see some showers and some mountain snow. But it's really only a couple of days and then probably flipping back to that original pattern that we've been dealing with basically since January. So today, there's that rain. It gets a little bit more widespread tonight. Higher terrain snow is going to be involved in that as well. San Francisco, Sacramento, and then getting down into Southern California here through tomorrow. So it will rain and there will be elevation snow. It won't be enough, though. Take a look at the liquid equivalent here. 1 or 2 inches and then some 8 to 12 inch swaths in through the Sierra. Julie?
Thank you, Keith. As we go to break, we want to show you something pretty amazing. Take a look at this. This weekend, stargazers in parts of Asia, the western U.S., and the South Pacific got the chance to see the shortest lunar eclipse of the century on Saturday. The entire event lasted just 5 minutes, with the moon glowing red, earning the nickname Blood Moon. This video taken by a photographer in the Philippines shows the moon as its color starts to transform. When we come back, we're tracking storms midweek.
You do know the experts at Midas will tell you when he's fixing now and what can wait, right? Like, I don't know, brakes? Of course I do.
One of the best things about driving is being able to stop. Get up to $100 back by mail on a 2-axle brake service. Brakes, tires, oil, everything.
Look like this, feel like this. Look like this, feel like this. With DreamWalk insoles, turn shoes that can be a pain into comfortable ones. Their soft cushioning support means you can look like this and feel like this. DreamWalk.
Most homes have air leaks and drafts that waste as much energy as leaving a window open in your home all year long. Call Champion Windows at 844-4CHAMPION. When you buy 2 rooms of windows, you'll get the 3rd room free. Call today, because every home needs a champion.
I use catheters, and if you do too, I urge you to call the number on the screen right now. Medical Direct Club has a new catheter that can change your life. My Medical Direct Club advisor really listened to my needs and recommended a revolutionary new catheter that is much less painful for me.
These new disposable catheters may hurt less. It's an incredible new design that may reduce pain and glide smoothly and effortlessly across your sensitive skin. Call now and get a free sample. Medicare and your insurance will pay for up to 200 of these catheters per month, all at little or no cost to you. We'll handle the paperwork with your doctor, and we'll ship these catheters discreetly to your door for free when you call and join.
Membership is free. Call now and get your free sample to try. End painful cathing today.
Call now at 800-635-8412. That's 800-635-8412.
You know you're going to go out in bad weather.
We're willing to take a lot of risk.
He has no heartbeat, he's got no pulse.
These people are counting on us.
So let's go! I've never been so terrified.
When you go out there, it's dangerous.
We all want that little black dress moment, that look good, feel good moment. But when you're overweight, it's more like little black dress. I don't even want to get dressed. I'm tired, my knees hurt. I'm not going up those stairs again moment. You know what I'm saying? I'm Marie and I lost 50 pounds on Nutrisystem.
Now you can lose weight fast with Nutrisystem's Fast 5 Plus. Lose 5 pounds in your first week, plus 1 inch off your waist, or your money back guaranteed.
You'll get perfectly portioned meals that are ready in minutes. So there's no counting, no measuring, no guesswork. Simple.
Order your 28-day Nutrisystem plan right now, including Fast 5 Plus. Get 1 week of specially selected meals. Plus, you'll get 1 week of energizing shakes free and 1 week of Craving Crusher shakes free.
This is your moment. Don't wait. Start looking and feeling great today.
Call now, 855-807-THIN, and lose your first 5 pounds fast.
Sundays.
One man's trash.
This is perfect.
Is another man's wood-powered Jeep gasifier.
Brainstormers, Sundays at 9, only on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 82 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Today, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 83. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, partly cloudy. Low 72. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tuesday, partly cloudy skies. High 85. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Welcome back to Weather Center Live. We are setting up for a very busy severe weather week right now. Taking a look at live radar here in the Mid-South, looking at some rain moving across I-40 heading into Nashville, Columbia. Also getting some of those heavier downpours at the moment. Nothing severe here showing up on radar right now. Paducah, same goes for you. And if we take a look at I-20 heading in toward Birmingham, it's just to the south of the city right now and pushing on off toward Anniston, Alabama, eventually toward Atlanta as well. Here's a look at our visible satellite imagery, and you can kind of get an idea of where the bulk of the rain is right now, moving across Tennessee and moving across Alabama. Keith, we're looking at the possibility of severe weather in red here today from Oxford to Meridian. Spotty Hell, really the name of the game today, but as we know, the tornado threat is only going to increase as we move midweek.
Yeah, and let's talk about our torcons, Julie, because as the tornado threat increases, we're going to be throwing these numbers at you, and it's important you understand what we're talking about when we do so. The torcon is the principle is that within a 50-mile radius, you multiply the number of the torcon by 10 to get your percentage chance of a tornado. So in this case, it'd be a 30% chance of a tornado, and obviously the numbers go up. I've seen them as high as 9. Obviously, that means a tornado is likely with a 90% chance. And more important than this particular setup is who's behind it. Dr. Greg Forbes is the person who started this torcon system. He's the one who issues most of the forecasts in collaboration with our Global Forecast Center. So, Julie, you know, the number and everything's important. More important is the kind of forecasters that are behind the system.
Dr. Forbes, obviously one of the preeminent forces in severe weather out there. So we've paid definitely close attention when he raises those torcons as he did today to a 5. We'll get to that in just a second. Right now, though, taking a look at our thunderstorm forecast for Wednesday. The areas in red from Oklahoma City, Kansas City, Springfield, Missouri, even St. Louis. You are in line for the possibility of severe weather. Where you see the orange here on the map, that is basically thunderstorms that we're talking about. Nonetheless, we could see some hail and damaging winds out of any of those areas. So taking a look now at the setup here, we have that warm, dry air coming from the west, a very different pattern change, a big trough in the west. It's going to be meeting up, though, with some very warm, moist, and unstable air coming up from the Gulf of Mexico. So where we're looking at those storms to start firing up right along that dry line you see there in yellow, that's a look at Wednesday of this week. But certainly this could be a multi-day event, and we're looking at Thursday and beyond as well. So here's that thunderstorm forecast, though, and severe weather forecast for Wednesday, looking at Oklahoma City, Kansas City, Springfield, and Dallas, as I mentioned. But certainly the possibility of thunderstorms as we look outside of that area. A 4 on Dr. Forbes' torcon for Wednesday, Keith, but we are looking at maybe a 5 for some other areas on Thursday of this week.
Yeah, still updating those numbers. Thank you, Julie. Let's talk about what goes on here as far as the setup. As Julie talked about, we have that dry line there, warm, moist air coming in from the Gulf of Mexico, that's surging and clashing. Jet stream also involved, upper level winds are there. That's where you get the turning of the atmosphere, that and what we call vorticity coming in out of the eastern part of the Rockies. So Thursday, we're watching Little Rock, St. Louis, all the way up into Chicago, and Chicago draws my eye because obviously they're a little bit far north, but they can get into that severe weather this time of year, and they're going to, it looks like, Thursday. Torcon there of 4 in western parts of Tennessee, western parts of Kentucky as well. And then we head down to the south right now, Torcon of 3 in Arkansas. But much as Dr. Forbes did for tomorrow, he may do for Thursday, adjusting these numbers in the upward direction seems more likely than downward given the setup here. Now on Friday, we're going to get a line that comes into parts of the Mid-Atlantic and the Carolinas. By that point, some of the dynamics, some of the ingredients will not be there for the rotation. So what we're thinking at that point is going to be some hail and some straight line winds. So we'll watch out. A place like Washington, D.C. Look at this. In the 50s here at first, then we get into the warm sector as that front approaches, and then Friday's your best chance of thunderstorms there in the low 80s. And again, some of those could be strong to severe, most of that not rotation though. Charlotte, we'll watch them Thursday into Friday. Best chance of storms will be Thursday night into Friday morning. We'll be right back after the break.
Constipated? Dulcolax tablets can cause cramps, but not Phillips. It has magnesium and works more naturally than stimulant laxatives for gentle, cramp-free relief of occasional constipation.
That works.
Mm-hmm. Live the regular life. Phillips.
Look! This is the new Asian-inspired broth bowl from Panera Bread. That noise! Panera broth bowls should be slurped with gusto. To explore further, order online or visit your neighborhood Panera Bread.
You know, some people have told me reverse mortgages sound too good to be true. I mean, you get cash out of your home, no monthly payments, and still own your home. There's got to be a catch, right, Jesse? Well, there isn't. Reverse mortgage, the loan's paid back when the last borrower leaves the home. In fact, reverse mortgages are based on a notion that President Reagan signed into law over 25 years ago in order to help seniors remain in their homes. If you're 62 or older and own your own home, you may qualify for a government-insured reverse mortgage with AAG that allows you to turn the equity in your home into tax-free cash. And with AAG, there are never any credit score requirements.
Call 1-800-661-0312 now to receive a new free information kit, including a reverse mortgage guide and DVD, personal stories from people like you, and a brand new family guide for children and loved ones, all absolutely free with no obligation.
AAG can help you pay off credit card debt, eliminate monthly mortgage payments, and provide some real retirement security.
Call 1-800-661-0312 today to get your free AAG reverse mortgage information kit and bonus DVD.
In the kits, you'll receive a helpful 3-part guide. The first will show you how a government-insured reverse mortgage allows you to access the equity in your home as tax-free cash. 500,000 people have already done it. The second booklet contains stories told by people just like you who've had their lives changed forever using a reverse mortgage. And the third guide is full of helpful answers and information for children and loved ones.
Call 1-800-661-0312 now to receive your information kit and DVD, all absolutely free.
There's simply an effective way for folks just like you to get the cash you need to enjoy your retirement.
Call 1-800-661-0312 now to receive your information kit and DVD, all absolutely free. Call 1-800-661-0312 now.
AAG, the best advice for a better life.
You know your dentures can move. Unlike natural teeth, try Fixodent Plus TrueFeel. The smooth formula helps keep dentures in place. It's free of flavors and colorants for a closer feeling to natural teeth. Fixodent and forget it.
We are still in the eye, and we're still trying to get in the same place.
She is in labor right now.
We know more about this system hour by hour.
This is our Pineapple Express pumping in that rainfall.
We are talking about a doozy of a storm.
Currently in our area, 82 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Today, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 83. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 72. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tuesday, partly cloudy skies. High 85. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
When you go out there, it's dangerous.
Right now on Weather Center Live, St. Louis, we're putting you on alert for the threat of some severe weather mid to late week. And we're talking about the possibility of large hail, damaging winds, and even some tornadoes. Your best chance for tornadoes looks like it will be on Thursday. Well, thanks for staying with us on Weather Center Live. I'm Keith Carson. We're here to keep you ahead of what is coming your way. We want to start with what's happening right now. And we're going to go over to Julie Martin for that. And Julie, the severe weather looks bigger Wednesday and Thursday, but some flooding concerns before that.
Yeah, the issue is we're not just talking about a day or so of rain. We're talking about rounds of rain all week long in many of these areas that have just gotten significant rain. In fact, places like Louisville, you just picked up over 5 inches of rain alone on Friday. That was your highest daily total for April. Certainly led to flooding issues there, and so the ground is very saturated. We're just going to keep building on that throughout this region all throughout the week. Flood warnings here along the Ohio River Valley as well. These for at least the next 24 hours. We'll keep a careful eye on those river levels for you, but certainly flash flooding not out of the realm of possibility either. St. Louis, you'll probably get some heavy downpours along with that severe weather as well. We're looking at Tuesday morning getting some of those storms rolling in. Wednesday, some more spotty showers and thunderstorms, and then Thursday will likely be your big day, as Keith mentioned, for the potential for hail and damaging winds, maybe even isolated tornadoes. This is our setup. Big trough here in the west, of total flip of the pattern, really, and this is what is going to be the impetus for starting these strong storms as it meets up with some moisture being pulled up from the Gulf of Mexico. All these two ingredients coming together by midweek, so we're looking at Wednesday into Thursday, rounds of heavy rain. Certainly going to have to watch out for flooding along with the severe weather issues from Atlanta to Dallas, all the way up into even, as I mentioned, the Ohio Valley, up into portions of southern Indiana and Kentucky. And boy, some of these areas just not really going to be getting much of a break. Showers and thunderstorms tomorrow, all the way from Atlanta up to Cincinnati, Raleigh, New York, all the way up into Chicago as well. And then Wednesday, that will be our next big severe weather day. Very likely scattered thunderstorms in all of the areas you see here in green. So these same areas just getting rained on over and over again throughout the week and really not getting any kind of break, at least through Friday. Here's a look at some of those totals we can expect out of this. St. Louis, you are right in the zone there for another 5 to 8 inches of rain. So certainly flash flooding, that's the kind that can come up very quickly, and you're going to want to really be careful if you're out on the roadways here. Louisville, another 3 to 5 inches likely for you. Definitely don't need that kind of rain, Keith.
All right, you're right about that, Julie. There is some good news related to the rain, though, and thunderstorms, particularly in Alabama. It'll wash away some of this pollen. This is Birmingham at a park there. And, yeah, just pollen everywhere, very, very high today. And it's not just Alabama. Look across the United States shows the pollen is sky high. And across much of the South, obviously, getting in through Texas and through California as well. Some big tree pollen issues. And I know it's bad down here in Atlanta. In fact, Julie, I was gone for about a week. My car was on the street. I'm glad they didn't tow it because it looked so abandoned when I came back because of all the pollen on there, and it looked like I got the boot or something.
I'm telling you, I checked over the weekend. We were in the 5,000s here in Atlanta, and anything over 90 is considered high.
Right.
Tree pollen. So if you're having issues with tree pollen, you are not alone.
We need to readjust that scale.
I know, my eyes feel like saucers. All right, well, you can thank a southwesterly flow and strong upper level winds for the wet weather. Severe thunderstorms also a threat as this week is moving on.
Yeah, meteorologist Mark Elliott in Birmingham, where right now this is mainly a rain event.
A bit of a rainy afternoon here in Birmingham, Alabama, as we've been watching rain move in from Mississippi into the state. Some dry air earlier in the day limited the morning rain. Now you're making up for it, and most residents here are welcoming in this rain. Look behind me, you can see that the trees have really greened up, and I was talking to some of the park crews as they were working here earlier today. They said that these trees didn't have any leaves even back towards Friday. A lot of this green up happened this weekend, and the pollen exploded. People complaining about their allergies here in Birmingham. So this rain washing things out, that is good news. The bad news is that there's another system on the way. So we're going to warm up over the next couple of days here in Birmingham, setting the stage for Friday. It looks like strong to severe storms are a potential as we work our way towards the end of the week. Hail, wind, even tornadoes across the south throughout the whole southern sector. So that's something that we're going to keep our eye on carefully. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Mark. Yeah, a rain event today, but things do change as we head into midweek. Let's talk about the severe weather setup because it has been well advertised by the computer models, particularly the GFS American computer model has been hot and heavy on Thursday. It all starts out here in the west with this spin, this disturbance. That disturbance is in the mid-levels of the atmosphere. So we call this vorticity. This is what this map is. If you were to see this in any kind of meteorological world, it would be called vorticity. It's the spin, the mid-layers of the atmosphere. That's coming through here across the Rockies, then ejects into the plains. So on a broad scale, what you're looking for as far as severe weather outbreaks as you look 5-6 days ahead is abundant moisture here, a lot of instability, and then a trigger, a catalyst. That's going to be that mid-level of vorticity or shortwave coming in here out of the Rockies. So we have all of those things coming together, particularly on Thursday. Now, we can't sleep on Wednesday. Even though the main spin will be out here, there's a ton of instability out ahead of it in the warm sector, where there's a lot of high dew points and a lot of instability there. So let's watch that Wednesday. The storms will pop up, and there'll probably be some supercells in there, particularly along the dry line here, where that dry air collides with the warm, moist flow from the Gulf of Mexico. So that's Wednesday. Here's your severe weather threat area on Wednesday. Kansas City, Springfield, St. Louis, down and through Dallas as well. And then the generalized area of thunderstorms here in the orange, where a couple of them could be strong, but we're not anticipating as many severe storms. So here's your Torcon 4 out of 10 in the eastern parts of Kansas, north central Oklahoma. We mentioned Dr. Forbes has upped it to 5 in some spots. We're going to go through the graphics process, get that in here and updated. Meanwhile, 3 out of east and central Oklahoma, north central Texas, and again, that is on Wednesday. Now, Thursday, we do get that mid-level spin to catch up with our instability. So that's why it looks really primed on Thursday for a severe weather outbreak. The question really will be, what's the dominant mode of severe weather? Is it straight line winds? Is it hail? Or is it tornadoes because of that spin? So Chicago, St. Louis, Little Rock, Memphis, there is spin in the atmosphere, so your Torcons are going to be at least a 4 here. Chances are that we will not be lowering these as we get closer. Just the finite details of location may be changed here. 4 out of 10 in western parts of Tennessee and Kentucky, and then down into Arkansas, 3 out of 10. So if you're in the shaded red, watch out on Thursday, and we'll just kind of fine-tune the timing of this whole thing. Julie?
And you know, Keith, without a doubt, hail will be a big cause of concern from these storms this week. So we want to break down the threat by the size of the hail that can fall. I want to take a look at some of the commonly used categories for hail, starting with pea size. Now, hail forms in the updrafts of storms, and it meets up with supercooled water droplets. So if you have winds coming up the updraft around 35 miles per hour, that's going to produce a smaller hail, not getting up as high, obviously not having a lot of time to form. Quarter-size hail around 49 miles per hour. This is enough to cause damage, certainly to cars. And as you get up to golf ball size hail at 64 miles per hour, definitely looking at major damage as the hail does fall and has more time to grow larger in the atmosphere. 81 miles per hour, we're talking baseball size hail. That's the kind we don't want to see. Significant damage. Teacup size hail, this is a new one for me, 85 miles per hour, and then we have softball size hail, Keith, at 103 miles per hour. So obviously significant damage. In fact, hail caused about $1 billion in damage just last year.
Wow, thanks, Julie. Teacup, very British of us. Well, this is the day baseball fans have been waiting for. Many teams, this is opening day. Officially, the 2015 season actually started in Chicago. Wrigley Field hosted the action. The field's in the middle of a big makeover. Jumbotron was ready. Bathrooms were not ready. Apparently, people were waiting a long time, at least 20-25 minutes, which in the baseball world means they missed probably 2 pitches or so. By the way, they lost 3-0 to the Cardinals. Let's talk about some forecasts. Here, Pirates and Reds, not great. 6 o'clock, some rain coming in there. If you're a diehard fan, though, you'll go out. Temperatures around 61 at 8 p.m.
Currently in our area, 82 degrees under partly cloudy skies. This afternoon, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 85. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, some clouds. Low 72. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tuesday, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 85. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Constipated? Dunkel-X tablets can cause cramps, but not Phillips. It has magnesium and works more naturally than stimulant laxatives for gentle cramp-free relief of occasional constipation.
That works.
Live the regular life. Phillips.
Oh, man. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
You're covered, Harry.
You got to do it like this. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, George. Hey, Jim. State Farm agents are there whenever you need them.
What's this? A box. It takes worn out things and makes them better. Want to see? Yeah. Cool. What else you got?
It's our biggest breakthrough yet. We're taking worn-out batteries and making them into something strong. New Energizer Eco Advanced, world's first long-lasting battery made with 4% recycled batteries.
Now? Can I at least put my shoes on? If your bladder is calling the shots, you may have a medical condition called overactive bladder, or OAB. You've got to be kidding me. I've had enough. It's time to talk to the doctor. Ask your doctor how Myrbetriq may help treat OAB symptoms of urgency, frequency, and leakage, which may mean fewer trips to the bathroom.
Myrbetriq Mirabegron may increase your blood pressure. Myrbetriq may increase your chances of not being able to empty your bladder. Tell your doctor right away if you have trouble emptying your bladder or have a weak urine stream. Myrbetriq may affect or be affected by other medications, so tell your doctor about all the medicines you take. Before taking Myrbetriq, tell your doctor if you have liver or kidney problems. Common side effects include increased blood pressure, common cold symptoms, urinary tract infection, and headache.
Take charge by talking to your doctor about your OAB symptoms and Myrbetriq. Find out if you can get your first prescription at .com.
You know your dentures can move. Unlike natural teeth, try Fixodent Plus TrueFeel. The smooth formula helps keep dentures in place. It's free of flavors and colorants for a closer feeling to natural teeth. Fixodent, and forget it.
Are you missing out on life because you're putting off neck or back surgery? Call Laser Spine Institute, the leader in minimally invasive spine surgery, to learn how a less than 1-inch incision can have you up and walking within a few hours of surgery, free from chronic back pain, and with no hospital stay and no lengthy recovery. If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with spinal stenosis, bulging or herniated disc, sciatica, or other chronic conditions, call today for your MRI review.
There were times my boss would send me home because I was in excruciating pain. Going to Laser Spine Institute, I go in, I have the procedure, and walk out a changed person, good to go back to work. I can't tell you how much happier I am. It's changed my life completely.
If you've been told you might need neck or back surgery, call 1-855-450-BACK for your MRI review.
Laser Spine Institute, a less than 1-inch incision, a lifetime of standing tall.
The FDA issued a public notice to doctors and patients concerning serious injuries caused by transvaginal mesh, bladder mesh, pelvic sling, and bladder sling. Please call now if you had one of these devices implanted in the last 5 years. You may be entitled to a cash award. If you had a transvaginal mesh, bladder mesh, pelvic sling, or bladder sling in the last 5 years,
please call 1-866-686-7952 now.
Away is as much about getting there as it is being there. Away is where the days are packed with wonder. And the evenings are filled with familiar comforts. Find your way. For a dealer in the RV that's right for you, visit GoRVing.com.
Welcome back to Weather Center Live, and we're all about severe weather, particularly as we head into Wednesday and Thursday. Let's start with Wednesday, Oklahoma City, Dallas, Springfield, St. Louis, Kansas City. Damaging winds, hail, yes, and also the possibility of some tornadoes. The ingredients really come together as we head into Thursday, as we have some mid-level spin coming in. We have moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, a lot of instability. We'll start some supercells, then we'll be watching those through the day in Little Rock, St. Louis, all the way up into Chicago. So there is a northern edge to this as well. By the way, our torque on here just got changed to a 5 on Wednesday, so we're going to watch that in particular areas, get that map updated for you, meaning a 50% chance, though, of a tornado in that area. And the shaded orange area here is your generalized thunderstorms. A few of those could be strong in through parts of Kentucky and Tennessee, but they're more likely to see severe weather as we head into Thursday. Julie?
Well, for severe weather to happen, you need a couple of main ingredients. You need moisture and warm air. So while you are putting on the flip-flops to enjoy that springtime breeze right above you, there could be a storm brewing. Don't fear. Here are now some outdoor.
Each year in the U.S., there are approximately 25 million cloud-to-ground lightning strikes, resulting in hundreds of injuries and dozens of fatalities while people are outdoors. Know that lightning can strike from as far away as 10 miles, even if it's not raining and the skies are clear. So if you hear thunder, head indoors. If you're outside with a sports group and there's a chance for thunderstorms, make sure there's someone monitoring the weather conditions. Watch for darkening skies, growing clouds, or increasing winds, which may mean an approaching storm. If you hear thunder, seek shelter in an enclosed, sturdy building with electricity and plumbing, which will divert a lightning strike into the ground. If there's no safe building available, head to a hardtop vehicle. Make sure the doors are closed and windows are up. A golf course can be a lightning hazard. The open fairways are dangerous for direct lightning strikes. Avoid trees and metal objects. Lightning can travel through the ground from a nearby strike. So if severe weather threatens, run or drive to safety. Remember, when it comes to lightning, there's no safe place outside.
Certainly some good tips there, and some that will be much needed as we move through what is shaping up to be a very active week in terms of severe weather. For today, we're just mostly looking at rain from places like Dallas over toward Atlanta up into the Ohio Valley. Also, the northwest coast getting some rain, so California finally getting a little moisture, and that moisture will expand by the time we work our way into tomorrow, all the way down into LA and San Diego. Tomorrow, looking at generalized thunderstorms all the way from Chicago up into the mid-Atlantic, down into the deep south as well. Wednesday, likely our first big day in terms of severe weather as all of these ingredients start to come together here in the southern plains. So Oklahoma, Kansas, certainly over into Missouri, heads up for you, looking at some very rough weather there on Wednesday in through Thursday as well. Even all the way up into Chicago, we could see some of these very strong storms, hail, damaging winds, isolated tornadoes before the system pushes out on Friday and ends up in the mid-Atlantic. We're still staying very wet though, so we're going to be on the watch out for flooding in these same areas as well, all the way from Texas up and through Atlanta, just rounds and rounds of rain throughout the work week. So definitely going to be a wet pattern. Saturday looks like we'll catch a break though. Many of these areas starting to dry out. The severe weather threat not there anymore on Saturday. So certainly some good news for many of you folks who are probably in for, as I mentioned, a rough severe weather week. Sunday though, some more rain starts to work its way into the central U.S. all the way from Minneapolis down in through Dallas as well. So we're looking at what should be a very active weather week. We're going to keep tracking it for you, give you a heads up every step of the way right here on the Weather Channel. Be sure to stay with us. A lot more coming up next.
When the moment's spontaneous, why pause to take a pill? Or stop to find a bathroom? Cialis for daily use is approved to treat both erectile dysfunction and the urinary symptoms of BPH, like needing to go frequently, day or night. Tell your doctor about all your medical conditions and medicines and ask if your heart is healthy enough for sex. Do not take Cialis if you take nitrates for chest pain, as it may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Do not drink alcohol in excess. Side effects may include headache, upset stomach, delayed backache, or muscle ache. To avoid long-term injury, get medical help right away for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease or loss in hearing or vision, or any symptoms of an allergic reaction, stop taking Cialis and get medical help right away. Ask your doctor about Cialis for daily use and the free 30-tablet trial.
It's the 1-800-PET-MEDS Calling All Pets Sweepstakes and Contest, where your dog or cat could be in our next TV commercial. To enter, just go to our website and post your pet photo. While you're there, get the same flea, tick, and heartworm medications as your vet, but for up to 50% less, with fast, free shipping and your satisfaction guaranteed. It's your pet's chance to be on TV. So visit 1-800-PetMeds.com today.
Control the weather. That's looking good. So we build things to harness it.
That's awesome. They hit the water. Game on.
Up here in Southeast Alaska, the Coast Guard's last line up defense.
This is about how far you can push yourself.
Currently in our area, 82 degrees under partly cloudy skies. This afternoon, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 85. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, some clouds. Low 72. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tuesday, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 85. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Working on my feet all day gave me pain here in my lower back. But now I step on this machine and get my number, which matches my Dr. Scholl's custom fit orthotic inserts. Now I get immediate relief from my foot pain.
My lower back pain. Find a machine at drscholls.com.
Dad, how many more weeks are you going to be using my car?
Until my insurance claim goes through, this is our car.
Mr. Parker, my parents have...
Allstate.
They have this...
Claim satisfaction guarantee.
Really?
Their claim experience is...
fast, fair, and hassle-free.
Or they get their, money back.
Sarah! Come to prom with me!
No.
Hey, Mr. Parker.
Claim satisfaction guarantee. Just another way Allstate is changing car insurance for good.
A message from the Pulaski Law Firm. A government study reports thousands of workers have been diagnosed with asbestos-related mesothelioma. To compensate those affected, asbestos trusts have been established with $30 billion in initial funding. You may be entitled to financial compensation without ever going to court. Act now. Call 1-800-950-MESO for a free consultation. If you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma, get the best care available. Then call us. Mesothelioma. Don't fight it alone.
This is Pete. Pete is helping his aunt move, so he's not thinking about tires right now. But if he were, all he'd need to know is TireRack.com. Right now, he can get a $70 Visa prepaid card when he buys a set of 4 select Bridgestone tires. For details, he'd go to TireRack.com/Bridgestone offer. But Pete's not thinking about tires. Pete's thinking it would have been nice if his aunt had mentioned the Minor Bird. TireRack.com. Find, deliver.
Alltech Roofing, the area's premier roofing company since 1984. We are a family-owned and operated business, and we specialize in roof replacement, repair, and new construction of all roof types. Alltech Roofing is proud to have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and have received numerous awards for quality and workmanship. Join our legions of satisfied customers today by calling Alltech Roofing for a free quote on any of your roofing needs.
All right, troops, it's pest management weekend.
Weekend!
Kids, you got the lawn. Honey, you got shrubs. And I'll handle the whitefly.
Pest control shouldn't take a weekend. Ambassador Pest Management will keep your lawn and yard growing lush and green with our affordable monthly service. Forget the hassle of pricey do-it-yourself lawn treatments. It's simple. For a beautiful yard, call Ambassador Pest Management. After all, a peaceful home starts with a pest-free home.
Order now.
We have been shattering records. Look at this sample.
I'm getting soaked.
You weren't expecting that, were you?
No, I wasn't.
The Easter Bunny had to dodge snowflakes. Look at this. Can you believe that? This is
so wrong. It really shouldn't. I mean,
up in the Northeast. I mean, Rochester, New York, really getting hit again in April on Easter of all days.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It adds insult to injury when it's on a day like that. Yeah, the big snowflakes there, and it was colder there than it was on Christmas Day. A high on Christmas turned out to be 52. Easter's 37 degrees.
Okay, those holidays got a little confused.
Got a little wacky there. You get more presents on one than the other, though. That's probably still the case.
That's true.
Meanwhile, waterways around the Chesapeake Bay area are still icy this first full week of April.
Yeah, it's causing some big issues for the people who depend on the water. Meteorologist Amelia Siegel from WRC has the story.
Not the worst I've ever seen, but the worst we've ever seen this late in the season.
Sean Orr has been working for the Department of Natural Resources for 12 years as the captain for Maryland's ice-breaking fleet of vessels. The ice is 7 to 8 inches thick in spots, and where it is piled up, it can be 2 to 3 feet thick.
Sometimes it can take a half hour to go like a few hundred feet.
There are hundreds of boats that work on the bay in the wintertime. This can have a huge impact on their livelihood. With everything so frozen, the watermen can't get out for oystering as the season comes to a close. Residents on Smith and Tangier Islands also depend on ice breaking to get off of the islands.
Tugboats got stuck in this ice this year. The ice was so bad in closing behind the Taws in Crisfield that we ended up just acting as the ferry instead, because you were taking too much of a chance for the ferries to tear themselves up.
Because of the ice, the boats that monitor the conditions of the bay can't get out.
We go out every month on the bay to look at the conditions of the bay, track progress towards restoration, and just see how things that are going on. So once a month we look at everything from surface to bottom to see what's going on. But like everybody else, when the thing is frozen over, we're not going out.
All right, I used to take an icebreaker from Burlington, Vermont over to Plattsburgh a lot when I lived up there. It's an interesting experience, I'll say that. Hey, it's still cold across much of the northern plains and into the northeast. In fact, Presque Isle, Maine, 13 below this morning, the coldest temperature this late in the season, even for them. They're way up there in northern Maine. I'm about to show you. Previous record was 4 below back in 1893. Look at this. These are morning lows. 19 below in Clayton Lake. Not an official observation point, but pretty reliable and pretty cold. 19 below in January is offensive. It's really awful as you head into April. And in general, it's kind of zonal. So west to east, the jet flow is across parts of the northeast. But there's just enough cold air sneaking into northern parts of New England. That's where that's from. The rest of us are around average, if not above it, across parts of the south. But the northeast not getting into that. And along that is a frontal boundary draped out. Nothing big, but some snow in there. And it's a good thing there's nothing big, because to be honest with you, with high pressure up here, if there were something to come up the coast in the right direction, you could be looking at some actual snow. That doesn't seem to be the case this week, but still not the setup you want to see in through April. Here's a look at our live radar. You can see that snow banding itself across northern parts of Lake Michigan, all the way in through northern parts of New England. A lot of it is terrain-based stuff here, so it's the higher terrain of New Hampshire, the mountains of Maine here and through Sugarloaf, Sunday River seeing some snow, and then Whiteface Mountain out here in the Adirondacks seeing some snow there as well. Meanwhile, out west, they need some snow, and they will get some there. The snowpack in the Sierra, a big problem in addition to the general drought there, or a part of the general drought there. We do have this upper level disturbance that will come through and kick off our severe weather midweek, but before it does that, it will bring us some elevation snow and some valley rain in through parts of the west, which we need. Here's the rain in through Tuesday, and then as you head up in the terrain, you can see where the crest of the mountains are right there. That's where the snow will be continuing to pile up. Pretty good snow for them. They actually average a decent amount of snow in March and April. Their season is a little bit different than what you see out east as far as big snowfall. Unfortunately, this 8 to 12 inches is not going to solve the general problem with snowpack. Take a look at this really good bar graph here, and this is your average snowpack in California. We had a good year in 2011. A lot of years have been below average, but look at us so far in 2015. Unbelievably low, sitting at 5% of our average. Julie?
Well, from wintry weather to the potential for another week of severe storms, we're talking 40 million people here in the threat area. This is a look at Wednesday in through Thursday, all the way from Chicago and St. Louis to Kansas City, Oklahoma City, south to Dallas. Heads up for you, we're talking hail, damaging winds, and possible tornadoes. More on the severe weather when we come back.
Currently in our area, 82 degrees under partly cloudy skies. This afternoon, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 85. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, some clouds. Low 72. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tuesday, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 85. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Right now in Weather Center Live, we want to prepare you for what is setting up to be a stormy, wet week across much of the country. We are also putting you on alert for the possibility of a midweek severe weather outbreak that could produce tornadoes, damaging winds, and hail.
And if you're sniffling, sneezing, your eyes won't stop running, you either just got dumped or you have allergy problems. In the latter case, the incoming rain might not be such a bad thing. We're checking out the pollen count in your city. Our expert-filled, in-depth coverage starts right here, right now on Weather Center Live.
The ingredients are coming together for the setup of a busy weather week. Good Monday to you and everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Julie Martin.
And I'm Keith Carson. Obviously, severe season through much of March was quiet, but we flipped the switch about 2 weeks ago. Now we're setting up for another busy week coming up.
Another very busy week could be making up for that lull. You know, thunderstorms pushing into Alabama later on today.
Yeah, Easter weekend was spent cleaning up after a tornado. EF1 in Ider Friday night east of Huntsville. Winds clocked in at 105 miles an hour, uprooting trees and blowing some roofs off the homes. Luckily, no reports of injuries. Part of that is what we just showed you. There was a storm shelter at that particular location, and the residents were inside it.
Absolutely. And you know, April is a very dangerous month when it comes to tornadoes touching down in and around the Huntsville area. This is the average from 1950 to 2013, and you'll notice it shoots way up in April to 23. So certainly the highest and most dangerous month. Well, Alabama and the rest of the South are also in the threat for severe weather. It remains all week long.
Yeah, a southwesterly flow and a strong upper level winds, creating prime conditions for gusty winds, damaging hail, and some possible tornadoes.
That's right. Meteorologist Mark Elliott is in Birmingham with more on why the stormy weather is likely.
A rainy afternoon in Birmingham, Alabama, and this is the time of year that they get severe weather. If you look at the averages across the nation, Alabama has 6 times the national average of tornadoes during the month of April. And far and away, for Birmingham itself, April is their busiest tornado month. Right now we're seeing some rain. That's actually some welcome rain as we've been washing away the pollen. The trees have really leafed out as we've gone through the past several days, and the allergies and the pollen counts have exploded along with those leaves. So no one really complaining about the rain today, although there could be some strong storms during the late afternoon into the evening. The bigger threat of severe weather, however, comes towards the end of the week when our next system comes through the southeast. A cold front will kick up wind, hail, even tornadoes across the south, including here in Birmingham on Friday. So that's something we're going to keep our eye on for sure as we get closer to that. One last note for you. 1 year ago exactly, April 6th last year, 5 to 6 inches of rain fell across the city of Birmingham in a very short time frame. Widespread flooding, cars needed rescue. There were people that had to get pulled out from the water. Luckily, nothing like that in the forecast today. Back to you.
Thank you, Mark. Certainly Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, no stranger to major tornado events, and we're hoping that we see none of that this week. Right now, we have rain pushing in, though, to Tuscaloosa and Birmingham right along I-20 here. Also some rain as we move into northern Alabama, up into Tennessee, Nashville along I-40. If you're traveling, probably going to slow you down a little bit. Moderate rain falling, nothing severe right now, and not expecting the severe to really kick in right now either, but it's coming. Here's our dip in the jet stream, which is a very different pattern than what we've been seeing here in the west, basically pushing the jet up here, moisture coming up from the north from the Gulf of Mexico. These two coming together by about Wednesday of this week, and right along this line here is where we're looking at the possibility of some severe weather to break out. Periods of storms with some very heavy rain also possible, so we're going to be on the lookout for flash flooding as well as river flooding, even in places like the Ohio River Valley. Take a look at this area in red here. This is what we're looking at for today in terms of those severe storms here in Louisiana. Severe thunderstorms likely for you. Tomorrow, scattered storms from Atlanta all the way back into Des Moines, up into Chicago. And then Wednesday, this will likely be our first of two big severe weather days. And we are looking at very strong storms in places like Oklahoma, Kansas, all the way into Missouri, maybe even all the way up into Chicago by the time we hit Thursday of this week. So we're talking about hail, damaging winds, and possible tornadoes. Also a lot of rain. Memphis, you could pick up another 3 to 5 inches of rain, so flash flooding not out of the question. Central Illinois also looking at large amounts of rain, and right here along the Ohio River Valley, we're going to be watching out for some river flooding as well, Keith.
All right, thank you, Julie. Let's take a look at two cities facing some severe weather this week. Oklahoma City, an eye to the sky there on the left side, and then St. Louis on the right. St. Louis looks like Wednesday night into Thursday. Let's talk about the severe weather setup because it is one of the stronger ones that we've seen this season. It was quiet through much of March. We flipped the switch 2 weeks ago, got a little activity going on, and then back into a stronger pattern here. Here's your Torcon numbers. Kansas City 4, and that is on Wednesday, and then St. Louis a 3. So what we're going to have is that warm, dry air colliding with the moist flow from the Gulf of Mexico. This little front-looking thing here that you don't see a ton of, this is called a dry line, and it's a trigger for a lot of severe weather in the spring and early summer across the south. So it's that moisture colliding with that warm, dry air, and a lot of times, or pretty much every time, that dry line is going to be out ahead of the cold front itself. So that's where the storms fire at least to start. It gets more complicated as they continue to evolve through the day. So here's Wednesday with that upper level flow in here as well. There isn't as much forcing on Wednesday as far as triggers for thunderstorms, but there'll be a lot of instability. So we're going to have to watch that side of it here. Springfield to St. Louis, down to Oklahoma City, northern parts of Texas also involved. And our Torcon numbers here, 4 in eastern Kansas, north central Oklahoma, and that means a 40% chance of a tornado within a 50-mile radius there. And then as you head down to the south, we've got a Torcon of 3 in east and central parts of Oklahoma. Now the upper level disturbance convenes with that moisture instability here as we head into Thursday. So we think a more widespread event then. Chicago to St. Louis to Little Rock down into northern parts of Louisiana. Your Torcon numbers pretty beefy up across the northern part of the area, 4 out of 10 in southeast Iowa and northern parts of Illinois, and then down to the south here, western Tennessee, western parts of Kentucky, right along that border there, and then a 3 for Arkansas. So probably a good chance of tornadoes here on Thursday with the spin in the atmosphere that's involved. Little Rock, a chance of tornado, large hail and damaging winds. Obviously the focus a lot of times ends up being on the tornadoes, but that large hail can be very damaging as well. Julie?
Absolutely. Well, now that we have pinpointed the dangers from too much water, we'll turn to the huge problems too little water is creating. But first, check out the thick smoke and ash that filled the skies here over the weekend. This is from Villa Rica, the volcano there. Officials keeping a very close eye on it. Last month, thousands of people had to evacuate when lava flowed from the volcano. Emergency officials fear activity could escalate.
There are perfect complements. The sun to our moon. The stars to our stripes. Some things just go together. That's why at Petco, we choose like-minded partners like Instinct Raw Boost, the first pet food to combine high-protein, grain-free kibble and protein-packed, freeze-dried raw bites for health and vitality you can see. Because when we feed them better, our companions thrive. Petco. What we feed them matters.
Started my Camry. Remembered the choices I've made. To be bold where others are scared. show her right from wrong. And realized my little girl had become an amazing human being who will make choices of her own. Toyota. Let's go places.
Are you sending your kids to school with an allergy medicine that may make them drowsy? Only Children's Claritin provides non-drowsy 24-hour allergy relief.
And it's the #1 pediatrician-recommended non-drowsy brand.
In class and out, your kids can live Claritin Clear.
I will live the life of now with the skin of then.
Olay Total Effects. Vitamin enriched to fight 7 signs of aging. In 4 weeks, skin looks up to 10 years younger. 7-in-1 from the world's #1. Olay, your best beautiful.
Dominic Toretto, you don't know me. You're about to.
Get down! The sins of London have followed us home.
So what's the plan, Dom?
One last ride. Daddy's gotta go to work.
Rated PG-13 in theaters and IMAX.
Currently in our area, 82 degrees under partly cloudy skies. This afternoon, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 85. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, some clouds. Low 72. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tuesday, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 85. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
We have been shattering records. Look at this sample.
I'm getting soaked.
You weren't expecting that, were you?
No, I wasn't.
Clorox knows to make a big meal, you have to make a big mess. New Clorox Scrub Singles are preloaded with cleaners to scrub away stuck-on messes and even get into tough corners.
It cleaned all this.
Good job, Mom.
Great job, Mom. Real scrubbing for your real life.
I'd like to put in my 15-year notice.
You're quitting?
Technically retiring, sir. With a little help from my State Farm agent, I plan to retire in 15 years.
Wow, you're totally blindsiding me here. Who's going to manage your accounts? This is a devastating blow I was not prepared for.
Take charge of your retirement. Talk to a State Farm agent today.
Hey, neighbor. Fertilize your lawn to keep it healthy this season and get expert advice and great savings at your neighborhood Ace. Right now, save on select varieties of Ace Green Turf fertilizers starting at $11.99 after $2 off instant savings.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Oh, cool. I can check my credit score on Credit Karma.
Checking your credit score is for chumps. I have great credit.
How do you know?
Duh.
You know those change, right?
Tattoos don't change.
Try Credit Karma. It's free, and you can see what your score is right now. Aren't you a little bit curious?
I just got my free credit score.
Credit Karma. Really free credit scores. Really free.
I've got to update my ink.
Welcome back. Here is a live look now at the beautiful California coast. Cali, the R word is coming today. Rain and snow will be a Northern California thing, but by Tuesday, LA, San Diego, you will get the showers as well.
And people who think LA always has smog, look at that shot.
It's beautiful.
Right?
I love California. I think all of it is beautiful, and I wish they would get more and more rain because the little bit they're going to get this week isn't really going to make that much of a difference.
No, they're looking at about maybe 5 inches of total precipitation this week, and that's on kind of the higher side.
Yeah, you know, every little bit seems to probably help psychologically more than anything when it comes to the drought situation.
Yeah, that's been going on for a while. NBC's Hallie Jackson tells us how the need for water is forcing farmers to make some really tough choices.
This dust will turn to mud in a couple weeks when Charlie Matthews floods his rice fields with millions of gallons of water. But some of his fellow farmers may stay dry, choosing instead to sell their water south for more money than they'd make growing rice. Doesn't this create an interesting dilemma for you? Are you a water seller or are you a rice farmer?
We're primarily want to be a rice farmer, but in order to be a rice farmer, we have to have the water.
Matthews took us to the reservoir supplying his Northern California district, which just struck a deal to sell some of its water to the Los Angeles area. Not an easy decision for him, but he says a necessary one.
If we don't find a way for the people in the South to get water when they desperately need it, we're afraid they'll change our water rights. So if we don't sell it to them, they'll find a way to take it.
Farmers like Matthews stand to make $700 an acre foot by not farming some land and selling allocated water 400 miles south to Jeffrey Keitlinger's district.
Give me some context there.
This is 2.5 times more than normal market rate for water this year.
His Metropolitan Water District imports 2/3 of its water from Central and Northern California.
That is water-rich territory, and here's the people-rich territory, and we're trying to match the two up.
But some folks worry that's a short-sighted solution that could eventually leave northern reservoirs high and even drier.
We have drought conditions here as well. Somehow there's this belief that they're not going to drain it, like there's so much water up here that they can't possibly destroy it.
This year, with the drought so bad, Northern California farmers may have to call off their deals anyway if the low snowpack and recent heat waves mean they don't get the water they need for any of their crops.
Even the small amount of water may just evaporate.
Still, with no end in sight,
there's 2,000 rice growers. There's 38 million other folks in California. We want to make sure we can get along with the 38 million.
Water for sale, a strategy for survival. Hallie Jackson, NBC News, Marysville, California.
All right, obviously a problem they have to keep working on. It's a Band-Aid solution, but something. They're going to get some rain here, but look at the perspective of this. San Francisco averages since January 1st around 12 inches of rain. That's what they normally would get. Well, 2 inches so far this year, and this is on top of the drought they already had. I was talking about the drought here a year ago. It continues today, and now we're going to get into dry season soon, so things really